describing it, I suppose. But it's really about, I mean, I've been at YouTube for over 6 years, I mentioned that, and there's just so many things that I find interesting, and when you look at actually how these things happen, I mean, you look at sometimes like a ridiculous video that just seems like apropos of nothing, to be totally strange and bizarre, but if you actually, when you dig into the stories behind these things, they're often very fascinating, and the stories behind a lot of the big talents that make up sort of the cultural landscape right now are very interesting, and so I'm trying to sort of collect all that in a way that I think hopefully shows how much we as just an audience and as sort of participants in our media can shape how the world works and how our pop culture works, and so that's what it's about.
I'm super excited to read it. When is it coming out?
God knows.
We'll talk to your publishers. So many times in that presentation, we just heard the word viral. It's one of those words everyone now knows what it means. We take it for granted. And when I was doing my own little YouTube search on New Kevin, I found a great video of you from about 5 years ago at a TED conference talking about why videos go viral. 5 years ago, it was everything, that pursuit of virality. It doesn't seem quite so dogged now. Why is that, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's still, viral is kind of represents the magic of what happens when we as an audience can make something popular. It's sort of a total inversion of media distribution. And so I think especially when we first started to see it, it became this like incredibly romantic thing that, that sort of encapsulated what was new and different about the web. I think that's still true. We don't maybe obsess over it as much because truthfully when it comes to being able to build audience and build things that really impact culture, sustain connection and communities and things end up having an even bigger impact. So I think that we've kind of moved away from viral being the centerpiece of entertainment on the web to more of a world where, you know, these guys I think are more of that centerpiece, but it's still kind of, they all play together to shape what I think is a very different way to think about and consume media, information, and entertainment.
Absolutely. Well, Humza, you make, as we just saw, scripted comedy on YouTube. Brilliant. Bad Man. It struck such a chord amongst young urban teenagers, Muslim teenagers. We were talking about capturing our reality, and you did that in such an imaginative way. I would love to know what made you think YouTube is the only place I can be at that point.
I was bored. And then that was it, really. It's quite funny because when I found out about YouTube, for me, I just wanted to kind of get one person's attention. Me as a comedian, as an actor, I wanted to get, maybe the attention of a casting director or a agent or someone who could put me in the right direction. And what I realized was, this was a kind of a platform that I could have done. Well, that allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do, and from it I just got like a crazy fan base from it, and it's been amazing.
And presumably agents and casting directors are banging down the door now.
Yeah, a couple of agents here. Gordy, what's good? Hey guys, that's my manager Danny. He's an idiot. Yeah. Proper hate him.
Let's break down the numbers here. You have a huge following on YouTube. Your videos have tens of millions of views. You've just hit over 300,000 active subs to your channel, so big congratulations for that. I was fascinated to learn that as well as having this big impact on YouTube and in that community, you're taking it offline as well. You're doing some really, really important work with people like the Metropolitan Police in London. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the police approached me, I think it was about 3-4 years ago. And they wanted to work with me, and I was thinking, do I really want to damage my street cred, And then I realized I didn't have any in the first place. And they said they were going to pay me, and they were white, and white people don't lie, so I thought, yeah, let's do it. And
how's that working out?
it's really good. And what happened was, when they started speaking to me, we started talking about their agenda, what they wanted to achieve, and they wanted to help prevent bad things from happening. And they realized that I have a big platform and I have a fan base, and the young generation, especially in the UK, they had that kind of I can kind of, how should I say, help portray and put out a positive message. And the police wanted to prevent, as an example, young girls from being radicalized and becoming jihadi brides, which last year was a big deal. And what these young girls, what would happen would be these young girls would be kind of like preyed on by these guys online on social media, and they would brainwash them and manipulate these young girls to think that they're doing this for God. And these young girls would leave their friends, their families, their lives here, and they would go to Syria and end up marrying some terrorists with dry ankles. And for me, it's pretty dry. I've seen them. And I wanted to do that, and then it actually happened to me. I knew a friend, my very close friend. The 3 girls. I don't know if anyone heard about the 3 girls last year that went off to Syria. So I knew one of the girls. Her brother's a very, very close friend of mine. So when that happened, I knew that I had to do something, and I knew I had to use my kind of, I don't want to say fame, that I hate using that, but kind of my online power into good use. And since then, I think I've done over, in the last year, I think I've done over 120 shows, and I've performed to about 60 to 70,000 young people in 1 year to help that.
So this is really important. Obviously today is a very positive day about YouTube. This is all like a lovely morning for YouTube. But the flip side, of course, of the conversation and the openness of the platform is that sometimes bad things can come out of these videos, that sometimes it is the media itself that is part of the radicalization problem. And this is such a positive example of how you can use the platform to specifically target that. I think it's amazing. Dina, so nice to have you here because